What up, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome into episode number 18 of Baggin and Braggin. I am back. Go again before I get back again before I go again on the road all the time. But Kansas was supposed to be home field advantage for me. Only an hour and 10 minutes away from my apartment, but man, it's been just as hectic as everything else.
If you were actually at your apartment to start.
Yeah. Again, coming from Michigan State Championships, driving all the way through St. Louis and up here, it was a lot of fun stuff, though, man. We got an interview today with Frank Modlin. We're going to discuss the game changer and how it came to be, as well as his follow through. Talked to him a little bit about the rule changes, and he brought up a good point off the air. He was talking about the ACL changing the rule for the step over and stuff like that, and he said they handled it very, very well, because if we eliminate that step over rule, we're going to eliminate a lot of the really, really cool shots.
Yep.
So speaking of really, really cool shots, we have airmails, pushes, rolls, and then a lot of you guys have been asking for it. So let's get some awkward knuckle clips in there.
My favorite.
Yeah, good point there by Frank. Like a lot of people, they kind of need that extra power. We're seeing Gavin Cano do it a little bit, where he's coming across the line and getting that extra push in there. Trey Birchfield does it. Alex Rawls, Jeremy Frazier. I mean, without
Most
the
most players
step
do it
over,
on a push, right? Like, so if they need that extra energy, they will do a follow through step. And the most obvious analogy is basketball with a 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Right. As long as you get the ball out of your hand and behind the line, you can end up inside of the line. And I don't see how this is any different. And I don't know about when basketball first came to be, if there was a big uproar about that, but obviously it hasn't changed.
I know for a fact there weren't as many keyboard warriors as we have right now.
That helps. That definitely helps.
But yeah, we had a lot of fun, though. We got a chance to do some Super Bowl action. We had the shootout. It was a little weird not doing, women's, seniors, and blind draw stuff on Friday, but I really liked the format. We had a lot of KC people come to show up and just watch. I mean, Court 1 seemed like it had fan after fan after fan for every single match. So a little bit early, I guess I should have saved that for the bragging segment. But yeah, jam-packed show, jam-packed week. It doesn't stop. So let me get to the question I always ask. How you doing, Meesh?
I'm doing good. I'm a little tired. But I should not be nearly as tired as you, because I got to go home Saturday morning and get home in time for Rome's birthday party, which we threw yesterday. I was like, well, no, Sunday. What day is today? And so it's just been kind of go, but I'm having a good time, and I had a lot of fun in Topeka in my short trip. Got there Thursday around 3, left Saturday around 3 a.m.
we found out that you're good at Mortal Kombat, apparently.
Yeah, we did some Mortal Kombat. No, I was telling Nick, I'm like, this arcade was so funny. It reminded me of this comedian that I never remember his name, but he was in Half Baked, and he always looks like he's high. I can never remember. Yes, Jim Brewer. So he does that one comedy thing where he talks about how his kids want to go to the wild animal park, and they say if you you get in for free with a can of Pepsi or Coke or something, and then he's like, if you bring a whole case, you can just drive around and around and around. And he didn't think they were serious. That totally flashed in my head when we went there, and the guy's like, yeah, for $5 you could just play for like 12 hours at this arcade. I was like, what?
Well, it cost us $10 because somebody didn't read the screen. But
I did not follow directions, and we had to pay another $5. So my bad.
It was fun though. I had a blast.
Skee-ball, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Pac-Man.
I got you on Donkey Kong though.
Donkey Kong was tough.
And Tetris. I got you on Tetris. You were terrible at Tetris.
Hey, the thing just did not cooperate the way it was supposed to, so it's not really my fault.
It was a lot of fun though.
It was a lot of fun. We had some good food. I had some not so good food. It varied. But I liked our meal. We got some salmon, some mac and cheese. It was all good. And whatever that thing was that I had never heard of, that appetizer, but I already forgot what it was called. But it was good. It had corn inside, and I don't know. It has a name. So good. I'd say Kansas has good food. We just went to like a place on a whim that we just randomly found that was close to the hotel, and it was awful. But that wasn't with research, so I can't blame Kansas for that. That's just lack of research. So overall, all good. All right, take a quick break, come back with our bragging section right after this. So you kind of already were alluding to what you want to brag about, so go ahead, Wally, finish it off.
Yeah, so bragging about the fans and the format. Last year we had shootouts separate from the opens. This year we're kind of piggybacking all the shootouts. One, it's going to help a lot with the travel. So you're getting a lot more top tier talent because they could travel there, play in the open and the shootouts, multiple ways to get their money back. And I think the ACL did a great job of looking at last season, making some tweaks, and going forward, they're making a lot of tweaks in the right directions. But
Yeah.
it creates a fun environment. And I got to brag on my people here in KC and St. Louis. We had a lot of St. Louis people drive up. I got to see a lot of my friends, and for the most part, they were around Court One the entire time. Just created an awesome environment. It was fun. I'm still going to keep pushing for trying to get singles on Saturday instead. Not sure how we're going to do
Hmm.
that, but just having massive amounts of people around the court makes it a lot more exciting. So
Why do you feel like
bragging
that
on
would
them
be
for sure.
better for singles versus doubles?
I feel like singles on Saturday creates a little bit more of an excitement. Doubles has its own natural level of excitement. You have more interaction between the players and stuff like that. Whereas singles, I feel like it's you heard a lot of Jeremy Schermerhorn off to the side hyping up Joe Neested. And then when we got to Jordan Power and Joe Neested, I mean, they were just cracking jokes at each other, going back and forth. And I'm like, if you have that on Saturday, that court is just loud. It's,
Hmm.
going crazy over that type of match. But, it was still decently loud Sunday, but there's only like 30 people there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the type of thing that the sport needs. Doubles on Sunday. I don't know how they would actually do it with rounders and stuff, playing rounders on a different day, but the ACL smart. They'll figure out a way to do it. I got faith in them.
Yeah, I think that's a challenge because you guys finish on Sunday around like mid-afternoon, right? And then
Hmm.
you'd start cleanup. Doubles goes till 9, 10, 11 at night. I mean, did you guys finish at like 10 p.m. or something for doubles?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not necessarily sure how long the actual tournament portion goes, and then there could be a fix on that as far as like maybe getting 4 different brackets or something instead of doing different brackets to kind of speed up
Hmm.
the time. I don't know. It's something we'll have to kind of look
If you
into
did
or even
rounders,
entertain on it. Yeah.
yeah, if you did rounders separately, then you could finish the tournament
Yeah,
portion
yeah. So
quickly.
my idea, and I'm not sure a lot of players are going to agree with me, is do rounders on Saturday like you normally do, but then do singles on Saturday night, and then do the doubles Sunday morning. But I
I
don't
think
know.
singles takes longer though, and doubles already ended at like 10, 11 p.m. So I don't know. I mean, it's all a valid discussion, but it does seem like logistically, like it's just so difficult to cram it all in that weekend, right? And
Yeah.
plus, you have to have the cleanup time. So that's definitely
Yeah, and then
challenging.
last thing I'm kind of bragging on, you can see I got my new Spark apparel gear. I
What? What?
love getting mail days when you come back. So Spark hooked it up. I got like a whole jumpsuit over there. I got it. Our team K9
Sweet.
unit jerseys are in, so I sent those out this weekend. Got a couple hats. I don't think I bragged on this, but I've been getting a lot of compliments on this tumbler from Mercked. Like
Yeah,
he
it's
did a
nice.
really good job of laser engraving that for his first time ever trying to laser engrave anything, and it's flawless. It looks really really good. So we're going to give away a bunch of those. We're not these. We're going to give away some tumblers with the engraving on it. This
Cool.
particular tumbler was pretty expensive,
Oh
but
no, they're not cheap. They
yeah,
definitely. We looked into them back in Girl Store 2 days, and there's like no margin, so it's
yeah.
a
Mine's a
little tough.
Yeti. Theirs is going to be a Forgetti. It'll be fun.
Forgetty. Hey, it still holds water and it still keeps it cold. You don't need to have Yeti. It's fine. I got mine
Yeah,
on Amazon. It works great. I don't
yeah.
know what it is. Forgetty, as you say.
You got
Um,
anything?
yeah, I'm bragging on my boy. It's his birthday today. We're recording this on April 25th, and so Rome turns 8 today.
Happy
So
birthday, Rome.
super excited for Rome, and I feel like I just feel very lucky to be his parent. He's such a easy, good kid, and yeah, it's just he's
Yeah,
just enjoyable. I enjoy it.
Nick has done a great job raising him.
Oh, I have no part in this. He is a lot like his dad, to be frank. So he is Nick's like really kind and thoughtful and warm, and Rome has all those qualities and funny, and Rome's hilarious. And so yeah, he did get a lot of his dad's qualities, which I'm happy about. And yeah, he's just a good kid. So happy birthday to Rome, 8 years old. And yeah, just excited for the whole parenting thing. I am not the type of person that like wanted to be a mom my whole life or like played house as the mom or even babysat, like nothing. I was never that person. I didn't want a big family, like just not that kind of person. So I didn't know how this was going to go for me. I never thought of myself as the most nurturing of people. And so I've just really enjoyed raising him. So
Yeah, when you have good kids, it makes it easy. So I think I told you that I gave the kiddo. She just turned 16, got her license, but I gave her a credit card. $500 limit to stay under there. She
yeah.
messaged me the other day and she's like, "What's the balance on the card?" I was like, "You're supposed to be keeping a detailed, pluses and minuses transaction report, and you're going to turn it into me at the end of the month." So I'm thinking like this girl went over $500 budget in 3 weeks. Man, I was getting ready to be so mad at her, and I pulled to see she spent $37, and
Oh my god, that's it. She bought gas basically.
she bought gas and had like two other transactions. So it's like, okay, so I got to tell her that it's not all just gas only. Like, you can go shopping, buy some clothes,
She's
and
all
have some
nervous.
fun. Yeah. So, but it's easier to be a parent whenever they, they're good and they actually have consciences, and you just want to, you
Oh,
know,
speaking of which, funny
vouch
story
for the
about
child.
Rome. I took him to see Mario during spring break. Did I tell you the story already about the candy?
Nah.
Okay, so I took him to see Mario. He really wanted to see it. It was right after Easter, so we had all this candy. So I said, just put some of your candy in my purse. There's no reason to buy it there. We have so much of it. I just don't want more. And
Hmm.
he goes, "Well, isn't that illegal?" And I'm like, "Well, it's frowned upon, you know." And so I'm like, "Just do it, Rome." So we get there. He's eating his popcorn. He's
First
he's
lesson
eating his.
is if it's only illegal if you get caught.
This is one of my best parenting moments. We get there and he never asked for it. And I was like, that's so weird. He must have forgotten. We get in the car. He's like, "Mom, can I have my candy?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought you forgot." He's like, "No, I just didn't want to eat at the movie theater because it's illegal." I'm like, oh my goodness. That's
That's
my
good
kid.
though. That's good
I'm
though.
trying to get him to break the rules and he refuses.
He thought it was a
So
test.
he's like, "Oh yeah, this isn't real. She's testing me."
Oh man, that's good stuff though.
Oh yeah. So there you go. That's how he is. All right, we're gonna get into our interview with Frank. Speaking of really awesome, good people, we're gonna get into our
Yeah.
interview with Frank right after this. Don't go away. Okay, welcome back. We have Frank Modlin here with us today, and he's coming off of an amazing weekend. Won in doubles in both the shootout and the open, and almost took down the singles shootout as well. So close, Frank. But we wanted to chat with you about your amazing performance and about the season. So thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, I appreciate you guys having me on. This is awesome.
What's up,
Hey,
Frank? How you doing, buddy?
we were joking around that you single-handedly are holding together the whole Game Changer brand.
Oh man, yeah, I get asked that question, a lot. How long have I been throwing it? Still throwing the game changers and still being able to be successful, that sort of thing. But it's kind of strange. There's literally quite a few pros that would still be throwing game changers right now. And I honestly get this comment from quite a few pros behind the camera that if they had their choice, they would 100% still be throwing game changers. But, our sport is evolving and the pros have so much travel that you have to go where the money's at. Like
Yeah.
if you're able to get a bag sponsorship deal with, another company, you have to go for it. And I completely understand that because you can't do all this travel, alone.
So
I
true.
don't
Such a good
I don't know
point.
where it became uncool to throw game changers. You know what I mean? Like I felt like there was a period there where everybody was throwing game changers, and some of these roll bag players, they're cheater bags. They're too hole friendly. It's not even playing cornhole. It's like cheat code. And I'm just like, dude, all these people I think would be 10 times better if they threw faster bags that were more hole friendly. So, I mean, I heard for the first time this weekend, and I want the whole story. How did the game changer come to be to begin with?
Oh my goodness! I wish I was still on my live feed at home or the Wi-Fi at home because my daughter was actually there. She was helping me get on the online, and she was actually she sewed the first game changer ever. So that would have been cool if I could have got her step on camera for a second. But so I I literally had the concept of Game Changer in my mind for quite a while before it actually came out. And when I signed on with All Cornhole, man, I don't even know what year it was now. It's probably 16 or 17. And when we signed on, no, I guess it was 18. So it had to have been either right at the end of the season, 17, or in the beginning of the 18. Chad Littlewood, the owner of All Cornhole, wanted the players to come up with like their signature series bags. Um, Little did I know that he just wanted a graphic design. He wanted us to send him a picture of a race car, or or airplane, or whatever. And I literally told Brenda, I was like, how in the world am I going to come up with a bag? It's square. Do I make a round bag? I don't think that would be legal. He's like, so I misunderstood the assignment, but that turned into something pretty awesome. But then I got to thinking, you know, all the players that were with our cornhole at that time, we were throwing slide rights primarily
Mm-hmm.
at the top level. And a real popular bag at that time was Reynolds bags. And it even at that point, the Reynolds bags were a little more hole friendly than our slide rights. So we were leaving a lot as players. We were leaving a lot of bags on the rims. Having and both of you as players, you'll understand what I'm saying. When you leave bags on the rim so much, it forces you to make decisions. High risk, high reward type decisions in matches. So, am I going to continue to try to step out and get that bag, or am I going to go up and shoot it? Where the other players weren't having to make those decisions as often. So, you literally could throw the same level as far as skill level as another player, but you were losing
Just
more
get
often.
hung up.
Yeah, so it got me to thinking that this might be a really good time to kind of throw out that concept, because you know everybody knows that it's a square bag and it's a round hole. So your corners are where the most resistance comes from. And I thought that if we pulled that resistance from the corners of the bag, and still had your full slick side on the other side, that it would make it a more hole friendly bag. Little did I know that it would make it as good as it did. But it was once Logan is my youngest daughter. She I talked her into sewing that first bag for me, and we started testing them, and it was immediately like you could tell the difference.
What was Chad's reaction when you brought him a bag instead of artwork?
Oh, that's funny, man. So like for several weeks in a row, he's chatting. I mean, he's sending me messages and saying, "Frank, everybody else has already got theirs in, because he's still waiting for that graphic design." Uh, and I always said, I was sitting there telling him, I was like, "Chad, I'm working on something. I'm working on something," and I could tell his patience was getting a little thin. So I finally got up my nerve and said, "I got something to show you. I don't want you to think I'm crazy, but I want to show you something." And he said, "Okay." So that led to, a call. Well, actually, I sent him a picture first. I sent him a picture of the bag, and it was really rough looking, like really rough looking. But it had, the patch sewn on, on the bag. And he immediately sent a message back, like immediately, and said, "What the?" And he bleep is that? And then it was almost immediate after that. My phone rang. He called. He called, and I guess it was probably an hour and a half long conversation. And by the end of that, well, actually, maybe a halfway through the conversation, I could tell that he was going from, "Okay, quit wasting my time," to, "Oh my God,
You're
we
onto something here.
literally, yeah,
Yeah. Well,
we
I
really might
wish
have
my
something together."
mistakes were financially as gaining as this one. I make a mistake and it ends up costing me a lot of money. So good on you. Congrats on that, man. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Frank
man. Appreciate
stumbles into one of the most
Yeah.
popular bags. I remember that was my
Yeah.
first. I'm pretty sure that was my first bag that wasn't like a big five, or I think I had slide
Yeah.
rights too, maybe. But
Right.
then
Yeah.
that
I
was
think
my
we all
first.
started on slide rights. Yeah.
Yeah, slide rights and then game changers.
Oh yeah. There's so many. I mean, you would not even begin to believe how many of those exact comments that I get on the. On the norm. Like every time I'm at a tournament, I get those exact same comments. Um, but it's kind of strange. It seems like that a lot of the perception out there is that Game Changer is kind of like a beginner bag, and it is you guys probably would agree with this. It is an unbelievable beginner bag because the way I describe it to everybody, the reason I think it's been so great for the sport in general, we grow from the bottom to the top. We couldn't survive with just the top level players.
Right.
Our entry level players are our bloodline. It helps us grow the sport tremendously. And a lot of players our sport had grown to the point where we weren't really a true pro division at that time, or had a pro division at that time, but we had a lot of entry level players that were intrigued with the sport. But when they would come into these local areas throughout the country, no matter where you were at, you always had a Matt Guy or a Jamie Graham or somebody at that venue, or several of them, and they were getting beat pretty quick and pretty handily. These entry level players, and how all of us are. We're all super competitive. We're not gonna get our feelings hurt, but so many times before we're like,
I'm done.
I'm out of here. I appreciate the whoopings, but see you later. But with Game Changers, they were seeing a little success earlier. Like you hear it so often that one of the things that the upper level pros get frustrated with is some of the bags don't look like it's going to end up in the hole, and they end up in the hole. Well, to an entry level player, they see that as, hey, I just put it in the hole. I don't care how it got there. I just, and it's really made the largest improvements at that level. But what I was telling you earlier about so many pros, and I would never mention names, but so many pros would still love to be throwing Game Changers if the economics of it, worked out correctly.
Right.
And I'm not saying there are a lot of great bags out there. I would never ever pretend that there's not. There's a lot of great brands out there.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have, man. We're getting too diverse.
Yeah,
that's right. But yeah, so but what the reason that the upper level pros say that behind the scenes, and I would be just like them if I were on the other end. I would say it behind the scenes for sure. They know even at the top levels that Game Changers, if you are throwing really good, like you're hitting all your targets, then that hole friendliness frustrates a lot of the other styles of throwers, because we can counter those blocks in so many different ways. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus or anything, but you throw a set of Game Changers in somebody like a Damon Dennis, or even like Matt Guy. I've always said that if Matt Guy if he ever became a Game Changer thrower, that we're all going to be fighting for second place at that point. Everyone in the game will 100% be fighting for second place, because if you notice Matt Guy's throw, he doesn't have the flattest bag in the game.
Yeah,
He
no.
really doesn't. No, and Mr. Damon Dennis is one of the best players in the world still, and he does not have the flattest bag. But the way they work that is, you literally are coming in on purpose, almost like a flight that's coming in, and it's not the flight that you enjoy landing on. That's coming in, like
I've been telling a lot of people that too. Like don't worry about throwing a flat bag. Let the slick side of the bag flatten out when it hits the board and do the work for you. And you got people like Meesh over here throwing 100 miles an hour and off the back of the board and meeshing it. So.
I'm so angry.
Yeah. But using those angles is what it's all about, though. Like I can't throw a roll shot or anything like that. I'll have one every now and then.
You do. We've seen you roll.
Oh,
Meesh. He calls it a hopper. Remember, or we got a hopper.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I joked with Wally the other day. I said, "Don't you even call that a roll bag? It doesn't deserve it."
All right, Frank, hold that thought for me. We're gonna take a quick commercial break and come right back up and finish up. we were talking about Frank's whatever we want to call it, hop,
The hopper.
roll, flop, whatever it is. But I have a different question for you, Frank. Frank's finger.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, that's a nice view of your hand. No, but there's something I noticed that you do, and I don't know if you do it on purpose, and I don't know the meaning of it. But when you win around, you go for the knuckles.
Uh-huh.
Is that like to get in the person's head, or are you trying to be nice, or what is that about? Because I feel like if you win the round and you put your hand out, it's like, I got you that round.
You know what? I've actually thought about that, and I don't know if that's a rude gesture or not. They may misinterpret that, but like most of the time when I do that, I feel like they still threw a good round. It just happened to be that I scored maybe that round. You so many times we literally can throw our best on that particular round, but you give up points. So that's what I mean by it. I certainly don't mean it as a jab. Yeah, I
Told
probably
you,
do it.
Bernie.
I know there was a debate because Wally and I were like, I think he's just a nice guy. I don't think he's doing it as a job. And Bernie's like, no, it is 100% intentional.
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
says you're doing
goodness.
it to throw the other person off. I was like, Frank comes over to me and shakes my hand and says hello
Yeah.
every single life. Like the guy is just overly nice. He might be an over knuckler, but if anything, I don't think he's doing it to get in the person's head. But another thing
Uh,
that you do, Frank, is I did this at Spencer McKenzie trying to cut through the wind. Is I step over that line whenever I throw. Now I call a lot of people call it the Modlin, but
mhm.
it's helping me stay on a straight line. So kind of take us through that process. How do why do you step over the line whenever you finish your throw?
Wally, you really nailed it right there. Of course, everybody kind of knows the story of why I started doing that. I was a right foot forward stationary thrower for 10 plus years. It was just what I felt the most comfortable with. I would practice a step shot here and there, just like everybody changes it up. We switch this and that, but I could never get comfortable with anything else. It always would go back to the right foot stationary throw. My foot was right at the end of the board. I would be right on the edge of the line. Um, and the reason that I had to keep coming back to that was I felt like anytime that I moved back and tried to throw, or if I tried to step, where I saw the most errors was with my airmail. Like staying at the front of that board with my right foot stationary, my airmail was a much higher percentage. So I would always go back to it. So then life happens, and yeah, at age 51, I think, 50 or 51, I find out that I have avascular necrosis of the hips. It was kind of found accidentally. I was having a lot of trouble with my legs, and I really thought it was my knees. I didn't have a whole lot of hip pain at that point, but when we were doing X-rays of my legs and my knees and stuff, they actually accidentally found the avascular necrosis in my hips. So, real quick, avascular necrosis basically cuts the blood supply off to your hips, and your hip plate or your hip actually dies. So it disintegrates. It literally just or the ball of your hip actually. In
But you
my
talk about
case,
the bone?
I'm sorry.
You talk about the bone, the joint, or like
Yeah,
the tissue or the stuff around it?
no, the actual. So mine was the ball of the hip.
Mm-hmm.
So you know that's one of your major joints of your body, and it pivots. It's a circular pivot, and with mine, the ball started at the top, and it started flattening,
Mm,
and it came to the point where it was completely like it's almost like if you had a ball and you started taking the air out of it, it
Yeah.
started to flatten until it became almost completely flat. Um, and what it got to, I was talking to my surgeon. He I asked him, how long would I be able to go without having hip replacement, and he said, "You'll know." And I literally got to that point out in Las Vegas. I had pushed it to the limit. I really couldn't even hardly walk.
This
And
was
I knew
about 2022 last year.
no. So that was my first one was in 2020, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did my right one about a year and a half, or maybe closer to 2 years before I did my left one. Um, but yeah, so he told me, he said you'll know, you won't, there's no doubt, and I did find out the hard way. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, so what it got to the point where I was really wasn't walking. I was just doing everything with my left leg and just kind of throwing my right foot forward, like my right leg
So
walking when I was just walking, trying to walk.
so
So
stepping over the line helps your hips.
so what happened during I might have my timelines wrong here, but so here comes COVID, uh, right during my surgery time or my recovery time, and as bad as it was for the world, it did leave some opportunity for me to be able to get in a lot of practice of trying to figure out what was I going to do, because I found out real quick after replacing my right hip that there was no way that I was going to be able to finish or play that season on my right hip. So I had to find out, all right, am I going to step? Am I going to go to a left hip or left foot stationary stance? And Jamie Graham um, had done this throw before I did it. He didn't follow through every time, but he did a little follow through step, and I remember he was super successful with it. So that's kind of where the idea came from. Jamie's one of the top players in the country, and if he can do it and be successful with it, it's got to be something to it. So I started trying it. I started just it was off my left leg, so that was taking the pressure off my right hip, and so I would put most of my weight on my left leg and throw. And I'm a big numbers guy, like stats guy. So
Hmm.
I'd started charting everything, and I would chart every kind of throw that I could throw. But every time it was coming back to my whole like my straight shots, it was not even close. It wasn't even
Hmm.
close. The step and the follow through to any type of stationary or like a traditional step throw where you just step and throw with the stride. Mine is that's where a lot of people don't quite understand it. They think that I'm stepping and throwing and using the foul line as um, part of a step throw,
Right.
but it's not. Mine is a throw and then a follow through. My
Right.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
think Isley put out a pretty good video of that before with you and Birchfield both stepping across the line. And it shows the bag is out. And a lot of people are, it's kind of weird because I do it, but I'm worried about my knee and my ankle landing too many times on it and putting those extra placements on it. But you're saying
Hmm.
that it helps you out with your hip movement, but it keeps me straighter. It looks weird. A lot of people aren't used to it, but I mean, I don't know if they take away the step over the line thing. I think we're both in trouble, though, Frank. I don't know.
you, you know what? I think the ACL did an amazing job last season with the rules change. I was a little nervous at the beginning. Even Chad Littlewood was a little nervous for me because I had gotten so comfortable with it so quick.
Hmm.
And he called me as soon as the rules came out and said, Frank, is this going to affect your throw? You might want to start thinking about it. I left my building, my practice building is a couple of when I did that little drive earlier on the video. That's what I did. I drove down to my building. It's just a couple of lots over from my house, and I immediately drove down and started doing video. And it's I could do 100 shots, and 100 out of 100 is not going to I'm not going to break that plane before I release the bag. And that was a big relief for me, like a huge relief, because at whatever we call the top level,
Hmm.
you've got to be performing at on your A level, A plus level
Hmm.
to
You
be
don't.
able
Yeah,
to
you can't
compete at
be
this level.
learning a new way to throw.
Right,
That's
right.
not going to work.
I was so nervous, but then I I did the videos, and I immediately sent him to Chad. I said, I'm good. I fall within the rules. And because I don't want to break the rules. I promise you, I would never want to do something that would be cheating or would give me an advantage that I'm not supposed to have. But Wally said that it keeps him straighter. It honestly keeps you straighter. Like it keeps you in a straight path towards the hole. Because if you think about it, it's hard to have that pendulum motion every time because we're throwing from one side of the body or the other, either with our left hand or our right hand. You have to come around your body with your throw.
Yeah.
With that follow through, I'm almost like shot putting it, or like even you. What's the game where they slide the puck like it's in the Olympics now, but it's
Is it shuffleboard or no? Not
Kind of like
shuffleboard.
on ice.
Oh yeah. What is that's got a weird name.
Yeah,
I can't think of the name.
I would have been able to tell you until you asked me.
but
Curling.
Yeah, I was like, it's a name that has nothing to do with what it looks like. I know that.
Right. So if you think about curling, if they had to swing something with that object towards their target, like if they had literally had to swing it like a side motion from like maybe a bat, swinging a bat or a golf club or something like that, you imagine how many times, like how much more accurate they are with that shot put, straightforward motion, push motion.
Gosh, and gonna bring roll shots into curling. Kidding me?
Hey, we got to get this thing in the Olympics somehow.
Yeah, well,
Whatever.
We should be there.
I think Frank, you need to say you're welcome because there's gonna be a lot of people that watch this and now they're gonna start stepping over the line. You might have fixed their throw, man.
Yeah, you fixed their throw.
I see, and you guys see it more than I do because you see the field of players more than I do. But we're seeing it so much more often.
Yeah.
And I'm even starting to like see some like the really younger players starting to do it. And that tells you right there that there's legitimately something to it. And it bothers me a little bit when and it's never the pros. The pros, I have some pros every now and then that'll joke with me a little bit about it, but I never have pros that act rude or anything about the style of throw that I'm doing because most of them know the story. But on some of the social media platforms, I try to stay off of that a lot.
Yeah, they attack it quite a bit.
Yeah, but it's honestly it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they're attacking it. I mean, I know that they're speaking the words or whatever or typing, but they just it's from a lack of understanding. I guess.
Yeah,
if they truly understood, the principle behind it, like Wally said, it literally keeps you straight. You're not breaking any rules. ACL's not going to let me get up there on TV. They're not going to let me get up there on live ACL Digital Network and break rules. That's just not going to happen. But it's honestly just something that I found accidentally because of all the stuff that allowed
Frank's
me to
the accident king.
Yeah, it is. That's like your thing.
Accident king getting paid. I love it, man.
Right? Finding a way.
Find a way,
Hey,
Frank.
whatever it takes, Frank. Whatever. They call you Find a Way, Frank, for a reason, and there's so many reasons why. Unfortunately, we are out of time, Frank. It's been awesome to spend time with you and learn more about the different. Oh, like I'm done, and we're gone.
All right.
That was quite the exit. That was a mic drop exit.
Like you want to hang up on me? Gone.
Or an Irish goodbye, I guess, whichever way you want to look at it. Oh man, that's funny. All right, well, that was great to learn more about Frank, and definitely give him some grace. The guy is really, truly one of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
100%.
100%. All right, thanks, Frank. Wherever you went. All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll come back with you after this. Welcome back. It is time for our highlights. Wally, what'd you cook up for us?
I've decided that we have so many awkward knuckles now that we are going to start doing a little awkward knuckle collage and awkward moment collage. So let's go
Yes.
ahead and start there, along with our airmails, pushes, and rolls. And there was a lot of airmails, but this is what I want to see.
This is the most entertaining. Oh, this is when he threw the bag up. So I
Uh,
missed. Hold on, does it show? Because I missed when he threw it.
no, it doesn't
Does
show
it
when he threw it
show?
up there. So
It
basically,
doesn't. Okay.
he was not happy with his previous shot being off to the
So he was
side.
just like throwing his bag like in frustration when you just like okay, and then it just got stuck in your new
Yeah.
rafters.
Yeah, so he got the he got the one stuck up on that
Oh my-
long toss, and then he has this one stuck up here. I mean, he can't help
He
it.
did. Oh my goodness! I didn't know he was responsible for the other one too.
Yeah, it was like 50 feet in the air. He threw Eric Davis's bag up there in the long toss, and he got stuck in the rafters. So
Oh my god, that's
easy. I love you,
hilarious.
buddy.
All right, so we talked about Frank's knuckles, and
Yeah,
here we
Frank is
go.
becoming the king of awkward knuckles because he's over knuckling and so polite. And then we got the stalker, Hunter Thorne. He's gonna walk it down.
Total
He kind of,
stalker. He's
if you
not
go back
giving
to
that.
the end of that real quick, he kind of got turkeyed at the end of that one. So he got turkeyed by
Oh, when you
Tubby.
get the high five
Yeah.
combo.
Yeah, and then this is just probably the most awkward knuckle I've ever seen. And then we got double self knuckles. Just ignore me. I'll self knuckle myself. Sammy Soto, poor guy. All right, we should have saved that for the grand finale. I guess I love
Oh,
that
we
part.
totally
All right.
started with the best one.
All right, so let's go
Wait, is
ahead and
that it?
move. That's it for
Okay.
awkward knuckles. Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
there's still some probably I missed, but that's a good start.
So good. Wally, those commercial breaks I was telling Nick when we were watching at home need to just be all awkward knuckles.
I'm
The
working
2
on it.
minutes?
I am
Okay.
working on it. Yeah,
Because it is so entertaining.
we will have a full 2 minute awkward knuckles, but I want you to put together some beats that are almost like clown car. You're like,
Okay, yeah, I'll
you
do
know what I
something
mean?
like
Yeah.
yes, totally. I get the vibe. Yep, I got it. Assignment
Alright.
understood. Okay, you want to go to earmails?
But yeah, let's go ahead and go to air mills. There's a bunch of them. I mean, there were so many beautiful rounds at these opens. There were like it was set up with a roll shot into an air mill. I mean, multiple collects, and then Justin Burton
Oh,
Jr.
the
doesn't
and
care who
one.
he is, getting the and one on Frank Modlin. But I mean, look at some of these early air mills here. They're landing on the pile and taking
Mhm.
multiple shots. I mean, if you're off by half an inch, these aren't happening.
Exactly. That's such precision.
Backside after backside after backside. This one here is like 30 feet in the air.
Was it? You
He-
can't tell from that angle.
Yeah, he needed to hit that air mill to stay alive. He threw it about 30 feet in the air, was able to
Beautiful.
drag it.
Grab on the right side.
And the cool thing with air mill highlights is you're able to get a lot of different talent in there. Here's another situation. Beautiful round. Good cut around shot. Immediate next bag was a huge air mill. Then right after that, Austin hits the push for a 12 on 12.
Ooh, I
Braden
remember that
Wilson,
one.
The
Almost
Future,
grabbed all of
by
them.
Nick Thompson.
The Future.
shout
I
out
think
to
that's a
Nick.
good
Yeah.
name.
Yeah, I love it, man. The kid's a human highlight reel.
Ooh,
Ricky
didn't
G.
grab it.
How about Ricky G this weekend?
I know. Oh, how about that mullet? Yep.
Yeah, you see, if you get yourself a mullet, Mish, you could do that too.
That's 100% not happening. Nor is it worth it. I don't even understand. Good
Go
grab
front
there.
side, backside. Alan Rawls' airmail was a huge storyline. I mean, he hit time and time again. Backside, angry he didn't get the collect there. This one, he is able to go a little bit shorter and get the drag. Big points on that one.
This
Same
is
thing
the
here in
crazy.
Jacob
This
Foreman.
is the
Yeah,
crazy shirt. I could not with that shirt.
yeah. I
Jacob
think it was
Foreman.
multiple awarenesses. So his mom just came off the surgery. So, yeah,
So from you can't tell. It just looks like a
Yeah, yeah.
crazy psychedelic.
yeah. It had like all the ribbons on the side. It was pretty cool in person. But yeah, airmail show. I think this was only 2 out of the like 6 they hit that round. This
Oh my
airmail right there
goodness.
by Josh Holland. I don't know if you want to go back a little bit on that one. There was a time where I was like, okay, great job there by Cheyenne pinching it. There's no way he's getting.
That
Okay,
one's
never
crazy.
mind. Never mind. He
Yeah.
got it.
So frustrating for her, right? You're like, come on. What are the
Yeah.
chances?
And Justin Duke, give him time. He's getting back into it. He doesn't know he's not supposed to end one himself.
Well, it's not
But
ideal.
he rebounds right here though. Good backside
It's the
collect.
grab.
Yeah. And then again, Holland just a little 2 for 1. This was another beautiful round. Again, roll shot into airmail drags. I mean, it just makes our job really easy
It
whenever
sure does.
we see these highlights over and over again. I think I said at the end of this video we had 46 highlights just for singles alone. So
Crazy. Oh
I
yeah,
talked,
that's
uh,
not even
yeah, I talked to
double.
Trey about it, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna have to get more storage, so he's gonna send me a larger storage device going
Good.
forward. So we
Yeah,
don't
we
run
don't
out
want to
of.
miss these
Yeah, we
opportunities.
ran out. We ran out of replay time.
When did you run out?
I think we ran out Saturday. We had
Dang.
a lot of rounders stuff on the K9 sneak peek, and then we had a lot of doubles action. So Saturday's a long, long day for me. That's where I'm
Yeah.
usually pushing 12, 13 hours. So you're gonna get your clips in that one. Let's go ahead
Nice.
and do some rolls now. Let's go to roll shots because
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
there's different varieties of rolls. We might even have a
Yeah,
hopper.
yeah. So I feel like we do need like different variations and different names.
Yeah. But again, just different people rolling. I mean, Mark Lopez, Zach Lewis. I mean, here's the thing that's getting scary. You see that angle that he put on that bag to cut
Yeah,
around
that's
that
like
corner?
that was a cut. That's a cut
Yeah.
roll,
Cut, roll, bicycle, airmail, hopper, rut, whatever.
flop.
I mean, Fisher Hamilton is lights out. Just different varieties of roll from Fisher Hamilton. This one, 3 bags deep, cutting that backside of the hole in. I mean, Creek
Oh man,
Killer and Foreman is
so
just
good.
so locked in with
Oh,
their rolls, man. When they're on
they
their
are.
game, they're going to be hard to be beaten. Well, somebody snuck a push in there.
Yeah, I know. I was like, wait a second.
I was waiting for the next shot.
Oh, that one's the best. That one's
Nice
the best.
roll, collect, perfect speed on that one. And again,
Hunter
another
Thorne.
perfect round, man. I love seeing this roll airmail shot. These pros are starting to execute now. It's getting nasty.
How does that bag in the front not go?
That's a Viper too, just a full blown Viper.
Yeah, Mark Richards showing off his rolls.
I mean, you think about it. This last weekend, we saw Mark Richards, we saw Josh Holland, we saw Joe Neested,
Yeah,
who I'm
yeah,
normally thinking of slick bag throwers, and they're starting to get on the roll highlights. So
yeah, with bags
this,
that aren't necessarily geared for rolling.
yeah, this singles division is getting a little scary.
Totally.
All right, and then our favorite one, we like the pushes.
Pushes are so much fun. Maybe just because I know, well, I can't do rolls either, but I really can't do this at all. So,
Oh, thing. I mean, no, there's nobody better about hitting the opponent's bag and getting that push. Look at
God,
that deep push there from Justin
I
Burton
know that
Jr.
was crazy.
Sneaky, sneaky. Doug Zaff looked like he was going to be unstoppable at some points this weekend.
I know. He had a good weekend.
Braden Wills, man, this kid's a beast.
That's insane.
Well, 2 for 1 there from KB. But yeah, Braden Wilson, I mean, he's hitting all the highlights. So he's airmail and rolling and,
Yeah, he's
pushing
hitting every
hard.
category. Hitting every category but the awkward knuckles, apparently.
Still young. Still young. Good time.
Still, yeah, still time.
This is actually continuation of the other clip that we saw. Again, just a 12 on 12 with good shot, roll, airmail, and pushes. All
So
in one
good.
round. Big Sherm, good job sneaking around there.
Yeah, that's
Found out
not
those
easy.
bags that Hunter Thorne and Jordan Power were throwing were Joe Neested's old bags.
You said you thought they were, or they were?
No, I found out they were. Yeah, they were his.
Oh, found out they were. Okay.
I forgot to put in the awkward moment where Jordan Power and Joe Neested were slamming bags on the ground and calling timeouts and chirping back and forth at each other. But that was a lot of fun. They were very entertaining this weekend.
Yeah, that is an entertaining duo.
I think Alan Rawls deserves to be mentioned in the Alex Rawls, Trey Birchfield, Mark Richards, category at the elite. Now he's proven time and time again.
Yeah, we were talking
He's
about
up
that
there
on
with
around
Justin
the
Burton Jr.
ACL. Yeah, it's tough to put him in the top 10 for some reason, but he is playing like he should be. So I'm not really sure what that resistance is to do that.
Yeah, that little push right there was what started the Joe Neested.
Oh God!
Power. So, and then it's kind of like I call that the John Claude Van Damme, where he took out the bottom brick and then kind of bars up everything. Well, yeah, but he pushed the bottom one in, and everything else just kind of exploded. So, really cool stuff. Really cool stuff.
That was awesome. Good job, everybody. Way to put on a show. That was just singles, right? You said.
Yeah,
a lot of those.
A lot of those were singles, yeah. So I mean, there's a couple clips trying to put everything together. I mean, I don't have much time for stuff anymore, so hopefully the equipment starts working, because saving it into different files or not even saving it at all right now, it's been a 2-day struggle trying to find where all these videos are. But Trey was able to get me squared away around I think 11:30, and then we started recording at 1. So
Oh, geez.
yeah,
Threw
I did
them
the best I
together.
could, but I think the
Oh,
Awkward
that was
Knuckles highlight
awesome.
reel made up for it. So we're gonna do that going forward.
Totally. All right, guys, that's all we got time for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys all next time.